This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 12. For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Ruach HaKodash. And double honor to my teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule and teach well, and peace and salutations to the elect that scattered across the four corners of this planet Earth, pushing this truth in sincerity and meekness without wavering, as well as risking their life and freedom to do so. This is your brother Aishiar from the GMS Cleveland Church, and I'm back with another lesson. And Lord willing, it is edifying to one of the Lord's elect. All right, and we're going to hop right into it. Because I start off the week, sending a word of the week to the group chat for the brothers here. And this week, the word of the week is being frugal. All right, being frugal, right? Which in the Edamon, it says economical in use, right? It also says useful, proper, worthy, honest, temperate, economical. It says fruit, produce, right? Value, result, success, right? To enjoy, all right? With derivatives referring to agricultural products. But the point is useful, okay? Now, I say that because I'm also going to get this definition in the Merriam-Webster, all right? The word frugal is characterized by or reflecting thrift and efficiency in the use of resources, right? See, we in the times, that's why the scriptures say money is a defense, all right? And y'all woke up thinking about this word because we in the times where we're already poor, all right? And the wicked elite banking families want to see us dry, bank account empty, which, those are the curses anyway, and it's going to happen. But before the financial banking system collapses, the economy collapses, Jake is still going to have to make do with what they have, and we already have little. So how are you supposed to carry yourself? How are you supposed to conduct yourself with the little that you have? By being frugal, right? Economical in use, right? What did it say? The efficiency in the use of resources, all right? Like, say, for instance, driving back and forth from east to west side 3 times a day. Like, for instance, I have to drive to the east side, okay, for work. And that's a 30-minute drive coming from the west side, all right? And I have to come back west. Well, before I come back west, I'm going to do everything I have to do on the east side before I come back west. Because once I go back home, I'm not coming back to the west side because it defeats the purpose. Why? Because I'm already low on shekels, already low on gas, everything's expensive. Okay, that's called being frugal. Like I remember the Elder Thonyaya said, he had compared himself to, this was years ago, he had compared himself to Julius, the father from Everybody Hates Chris. Why this light on? Why you wasting this? Why you wasting that? See what I'm saying? And they was already poor. So I understand Julius as I get older. My father was even like that. Turn the TV off when you going to sleep. Right? Things like that, man. All right? Because, like I said, we're already poor, man. All right? You want to use your money wisely. All right? Okay, be efficient in using your money. Okay? Don't just be fucking it off. Okay? Fucking it off. If you stop buying fast food, go buy groceries. It's way cheaper. You may seem like it's not. But it is. You spend $8 on Chick-fil-A. You could have went to the grocery store, bought you a couple things that'll last you a couple days, maybe even a week. You see, and I say that because of this video, right? This is the inspiration that I got this from. All right, this is from the Jimmy Dore show. It says consumers are the last of our concern, admits Trump economic advisor, man. So the whole United States of America, the citizens that are here, the people that live here, we're all consumers, all right? And Jake is at the bottom of the totem pole. When I say Jake, I'm talking about the Israelite, okay? The Israelites, specifically the men, which consist of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Seminole, Native American Indian men, okay, by the seed of the Father. You're already low, okay? Esau's trying to bring you even lower to the brink of desperation, all right? But remember, money is a defense, man, all right? Now, I want to actually get this word defense in the etymon, all right? And this is a lesson to myself, because I'm the, I caught myself driving back and forth to the east side twice, 3 times a day, man. You see, hey, I'm even contemplating on moving to the east side or somewhere in the middle point, all right? Because you just called being frugal, man, being efficient. But this is the word defense. It says shadow, shade on dial. Shadow, shade is protection. Shade is symbolic of transitoriness of life. It pretty much is defense, man. Let's look it up in the regular Merriam-Webster or Oxford. Defense, right? I'm gonna get with the C in it, not the S. I want the C. All right. Let's see if this pops up. Defense. Well, it goes back to defense, right? It says action of guarding or shielding from attack or injury. Right. Money is a defense, man. In this society it is, okay, and as well as in the ancient world it was a defense, man. Okay? It says act of defending by fighting a fortified place of refuge, man. Now, money does it's a balance to that. Now, money can't save you from the wrath of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, okay? But it can help you in certain situations, all right? So, I'm going to play this video, and then I'm going to close out, all right? We in the times where, the price of living, okay, is going to continue to increase. Meanwhile, your wages are staying the same, okay? So, what does that mean? We have to adapt, okay, to the times that we're in. Yeah, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to protect.
This is Trump economic advisor Kevin Hassett, and he was on CNBC, and he accidentally let the truth. This is the only time you commit a gaffe in Washington is when you tell the truth. That's called a gaffe. Lying is how the whole system works. When you accidentally tell the truth, that's a gaffe. So he lets the mask is off, and he's going to let you know that the Trump administration do not give a F about you,
this is the only time you commit a gaffe
how badly this war
is when you tell
hurts you in the pocketbook.
That's called a gaffe. Lying is how the whole system works. When you accidentally tell the truth,
if it were to be extended,
that's a gaffe.
it wouldn't really disrupt the U.S. economy very much at all.
And he's
it
going to let you know
would
that the
hurt
Trump
consumers, and we'd have
administration
to think about,
do not give
if that
a F
continued, what we would have to do about that.
you.
But that's really the last of our concerns right now, because we're very confident that this thing is going ahead of schedule.
Watch this.
So I don't know if you heard what he said. This is going to hurt consumers, but that's the last thing we're worried about.
It wouldn't really disrupt the U.S. economy very much at all. It would.
Did you hear? I'll play it again.
The economy is fundamentally sound.
The economy is fundamentally sound.
If it were to be extended, it wouldn't.
So if this war were to be extended, it wouldn't hurt our economy.
Disrupt the U.S.
I don't know if you heard what he said.
It would
this is going to hurt consumers, but that's the last thing we're worried about.
If that continued, what we would have to do about that. But that's really the last of our concerns right now.
The economy is fundamentally sound.
The economy is fundamentally sound.
If it were to be extended, it wouldn't really.
So if this war were to be extended, it wouldn't hurt our economy.
Disrupt the U.S. economy very much at all. It would hurt consumers, and we'd have to think about, if that continued, what we would have to do about that. But that's really the last of our concerns right now.
See, Esau, Edom, so-called white man, starting with the wicked elite banking families, they're showing you who they really are. Okay, they don't care if you're struggling. Okay, they don't care if you can't make ends meet, or they don't care if you have to make a decision between paying for gas or paying for food. You see, they don't care about that. All they care about is war and complete control over the whole entire planet Earth. All right. See, these people don't give a shit about you, especially you Israelites, man. They don't even care about their own people, man. See, we care about our own people. This is why we do these lessons, man. All right. We only care about the elect of the nation of Israel, right? That's why we do these lessons, to get you prepared for what's about to come down the pipeline, man. There's nothing wrong with being frugal, man. All right, Jake might say, "Oh man, you being tight, man. We in the end, man. Fuck that shit." Okay, yeah, we in the end, but does that mean not apply wisdom? No. You're supposed to apply wisdom more and more as Yahweh Bashim al-Shah's days approaches, man. It said the wise have trimmed their lamps. Okay, now it's talking about the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. Yes, okay, which they will apply those things to, man. Everything that Yahweh Shah wants.
It's not really going to damage our economy. I mean, it's going to hurt consumers, but that's really the last thing.
To counter it. Okay, he gave us the.
So isn't it interesting that they say it wouldn't hurt the economy, but it would hurt consumers?
On how,
who exactly is the economy for?
And what we should be doing in these times, man. All right?
They're only talking about the Wall Street elite, and the rest of us are on the soup line.
Maybe it's going to hurt consumers,
they don't care.
But that's really the last thing. We don't give a damn. So isn't it interesting that they say it wouldn't hurt the economy, but it would hurt
this accidental confession by Trump's economic advisor speaks to the bigger issue, which is that the United States economy exists to serve the rich,
talking about the Wall Street
when it should exist to serve the working class people who make it run. You would think.
Power to the people.
Remember George Carlin said it's a big club and you ain't in it?
Accidental confession by Trump's economic advisor speaks to the bigger issue,
timeless quote by George Carlin that will always be relevant until the masses wake up and realize we have more in common with each other than the capitalist political parties that seek to divide us because it is easier to control and conquer us that way. That's 100% accurate.
Well, I like what Proud Socialist says. He says,
Ian Malcolm 84 says, not only do they not care about Americans,
be relevant until the
they are
masses wake
actively
up
making things worse for us as they export our wealth to Israel so we can be enslaved by global Jewry. Your nation is being sabotaged, and it's time for the entire world to awaken to the obvious catalyst.
Ian Malcolm 84 says, not only do they not care about Americans, they are actively making things worse for us as they export our wealth to Israel so we can be enslaved by global Jewry. Your nation is being sabotaged, and it's time for the entire world to awaken to the obvious catalyst.
Right, and that's the scripture in the book of Isaiah 14, man. All right, the king of Babylon, right, which is President Donald Trump, all right, but he's controlled by a specific group of people. He's controlled by a specific group of people, and that's the international banking families, man. But this is the book of Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 6. It says, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, right, is persecuted, and none hindereth, man. Who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke? All right. President DJT, Nero, reincarnated. Right? When Apostle R said Nero Ridi Vivos, that means Nero reincarnated. All right? Which we believe that he is. Okay? He's the one that's ruling Babylon the Great, which is North America. Okay? The United States of America. Okay? He's also ruling the whole entire planet Earth. You just seen this man said to the Japanese Prime Minister, he said, who knows more about surprises than Japan, man? You see that? You know, it was funny. But it just shows you that this guy, he's tone deaf. Okay, he doesn't give a shit about anybody but himself and his little group. Okay, and the wicked elite banking families, man. See, he's the one that's smoting the people with wrath. Okay, with a continual stroke, meaning he's not letting up. He's going to come down with more oppression. All right, you see, and ultimately he's going to bring in that MOTB system and that physical device, which we believe through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Al-Shad, it's a radio frequency identification device that goes under your skin. You see, he's pushing in that system. All right, which, and I also want to say, real money is gold, silver, cattle, land, and slaves, man. All right, now, do we own those things? We own some of them. You know, some brothers own gold and silver. You know, some brothers might own land, cattle. Okay, you know, and slaves. Slaves is just employees, man. You see, that's real money, and that's how you're going to counter this man's system to a certain point. Okay, the real way to counter this man's system is trusting in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. But until the green tree dries up, okay, money is going to be a defense until then, man. All right. Now, I'm not saying put your trust in money, no. But if you have it, use it wisely. Okay, don't be going out buying bottles every fucking week or buying a drink every goddamn day. All right, find something else to do that's counterproductive. All All right, get in the gym. Okay, something that's going to benefit your health. Take care of your health, right? Go grocery shopping. Go walking. Okay, go bike riding. Okay, get your health right. All right, especially in these times. All right, hey, do a fast. All right, start fasting. How often are you fasting?
I like what Jackie Maniel says. Now let's be precise about what was just said. The director of the National Economic Council, the president's chief economic advisor, acknowledged on live television that an extended war would hurt American consumers, then described that harm as the last of our concerns right now. This is not a misquote. This is not out of context. The full transcript makes it worse, not better.
Let's be precise.
Gas prices are going up more than 20% since the war began. 5 states are approaching $4 a gallon gas. The IEA has called this the largest oil supply disruption in the history of the global market. The American Farm Bureau has warned of supply chain shocks. Airlines, which means there's going to be food shortages because they can't get
since the war began. 5 states are approaching $4 a gallon gas. The IEA has called this the largest oil supply disruption in the history of the global market. The American Farm Bureau has warned of supply chain shocks. Airline, which means there's going to be food shortages because they can't get fertilizer.
So food shortages is coming, man. All right. Would it be wise to, stock up? There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, you can do it.
The airlines are raising ticket prices. Goldman Sachs is forecasting a 20% higher oil prices for the fall of 2026. It's going to be higher than that. These are the conditions under which a senior White House official decided the right message was that consumers are their last priority.
The airlines are raising ticket prices.
The political damage is significant, but almost secondary to the substantive admission. What hasn't revealed is the internal priority hierarchy of an administration that started a war it knew would hurt working Americans, decided the strategic objective outweighed that cost, and is now openly saying so in front of the camera. The quiet part being loud here is not just that consumers don't matter, it's that this calculus was made before February 28th, not after. They knew before they started this war. They didn't care. Trump campaigned on bringing down costs for ordinary Americans. His own economic director just confirmed that when it came to the crunch, those Americans are last in line. And as I pointed out years ago, we are occupied already.
February 28th.
It wasn't a war. They just snuck in and took over. And because of that, nobody takes it seriously. But now because there is a war, everybody is instead now connecting all the dots and seeing how controlled we are. So gear up for false flags to distract us, like drones that conveniently disappeared, to validate the lame story that Iranian terror cells are all ready to strike pointless strategic sites, which should anger the populace. We aren't supposed to know all this before they actually do it. But we do know this now. So when they do the false flags, we're ready.
Us, like drones that conveniently disappeared, to validate the lame story that Iranian terror cells are all ready to strike pointless strategic sites, which should anger the populace. We aren't supposed to know all this before they actually do it, but we do know this now. So when they do the false flags, we're ready.
See, even the scriptures say the children of this world are wiser than their generation, than the children of light. See, that's talking about these Edomites are more wiser than our people, man. Our people, the Israelites, man. They see what's about to come down the pipeline. All right, and the elect do too. Okay, and guess what we're doing? We're getting ready. Okay, through the Spirit. Okay, for these things to take place, man. All right, we're applying the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. It says wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our times, man. All right. Stability and knowledge. All right. Well, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of that time. Right. Wisdom is applying the scriptures. Knowledge is knowing what's about to happen. Okay. See, this truth is about application as well. Okay. Applying the things that you know.
He already lost this war a long time ago. Because we're talking about the war of rhetoric.
You can know some shit.
So here,
but if you ain't applying
Alphatica tweets out, it wouldn't disrupt the U.S. economy, but it would hurt consumers. Consumer spending is 68% of the GDP. The consumer is the economy. This isn't even a political point. It's an accounting identity. Coffee's up 127%. Gas is up to $3.70. Steak at a record high. 45% of investors now expect higher inflation. And the administration's economic advisor just said consumers' pain is the last of our concerns. The Fed meets tomorrow, which means today they're watching the same inflation expectations data as everyone else, telling consumers their pain doesn't matter, while simultaneously
45% of investors now expect higher inflation, and the administration's economic advisor just said consumers' pain is the last of our concerns. The Fed meets tomorrow, which means today they're watching the same inflation expectations data as everyone else, telling consumers their pain doesn't matter, while demanding rate cuts to juice asset prices is a messaging strategy that has a shelf life, and that shelf life is measured in gas station receipts. There's another one. I'm more worried about our own government attacking us on our own soil to blame it on Iran than I am that Iran will attack us. That's where we are now. That's where we are now. And by the way, it's no longer our government. It's an Israeli-occupied government. It's the Zionist-occupied government, or ZOG. That's where we are at now. And if you want to hear my jokes about this, come see me in San Antonio, Albuquerque, Houston, Dallas, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas.
You know, and that's pretty much it, man. All right. You know, be frugal in the times that we're in. Don't go around wasting your money, okay? Especially on pleasing your flesh, man. Be wise with your shekels, all right? You know, because brothers is we depend on one another, man. See, this thing isn't about us, man. Okay? It's about Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, man. All right? And brothers. Okay, so I'm gonna close out. Lord willing, this is edifying to one of the Lord.